days a year. Now, how are we making our money? How are we distributing this technology? We have White Swan Direct, which is our direct-to-consumer offering where we make money just like any other agency. We're also forming partnerships with RIAs. For the same reason clients like coming to us directly, RIAs like sending our clients our way. We're also in the process of forming a BGA where we'll make money with overrides. Then eventually, when we get the technology completely buttoned up, we'll roll out a SaaS platform where we'll be charging technology fees. Now, we have the team to do it. Myself, I'm a former fintech co-founder that's done a similar transformation with a different financial service product. My co-founder, Pondus, over here, he started a successful direct-to-consumer company. He's also written the book on this. He's written a finance book. The two gentlemen on the bottom here have over 40 years of life insurance experience between them. Paul here used to run competitive intelligence in New York Life. So again, we're White Swan. My name's Todd Hawk, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. Good. Clicker. Here's your one right over. We're up to Z's now. Here we go. Zelros. Down goes forward. There you go.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Cross-sell, upsell, downsell, right sell. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, hi. Thank you so much for hanging in here. I believe I'm the last presentation. Second to last. Yeah. Okay, I saw our logo down here being the last one. Okay, second to last. All right. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Lynn Ho. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Growth Officer, wear multiple hats type of startup. So show of hands, how many of you absolutely love the buying experience of insurance? Like big love, heart, I heart insurance kind of experience. Okay, we got one. Great. We'll have a little chit chat later. So we've got Chelsea over here who's very frustrated, and I'm with Chelsea when it comes to the buying experience of insurance. And then you've got the agent or the CSR who's trying to sell insurance, is also frustrated because the tools are either no longer relevant. And there's a whole lot to absorb, and the whole literacy, the consumer literacy is there's a gap. There's a gap between understanding exactly what are we selling to the customers, when, why, and on the other side, there's also a frustrated customer. So with those two challenges in mind comes Zelros. Zelros offers a recommendation engine, thank you, recommendation engine that plugs into the consumer site, so online as well as through the CRM of choice, which I'll get into in a second. And the leadership team were spanned across Montreal. We have a Montreal office as well as originally founded out of Paris, France. So we've got people in France as well as in the North American office. I'm based in Seattle, but often in Montreal and also from Ottawa, Canada originally. So that makes it nice to travel back home from time to time. So what is a recommendation engine? Recommendation engine, we have seen some successes in other industries. As we all know, Netflix and Amazon experience where they recommend products, right? And so take those learnings and apply that to insurance. But of course, insurance, it's not the same as binge watching Netflix. We don't buy insurance. The frequency is not the same. However, so with that said, is we provide that context. We provide a bit more information than just recommend a policy to sell or to buy. This is an example of what would plug into a CRM of choice. This is an example of Salesforce. Another example that we see a lot is the Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and sometimes homegrown. We would plug into that for the agents to be able to quickly see what products are we recommending here to the customer calling in, what am I saying, what questions should I be asking, and personalizing that messaging for the agent to make her job easier. And also some actions at the bottom as well. Do we take the customer to the quotation system, or do we arrange a second call with a specialist, so on. And then on the customer side, online, we now take that same personalized recommendation experience with the agent online. And so now the same type of recommendations, the same algorithms behind the scene would work itself to serve the client on your portal or on your website, ask those same type of questions, and then just nudging them along that buyer's journey online if they choose to transact online versus with an agent over the phone. some of the key results we've seen across our customers, we've seen anywhere between 50 to 100% lift in sales performance. We've also are excited to see our NPS score go up. We're in the great area now, striving and on our way to excellent on the NPS score. And then we've also seen our recommendation engine usage grow at least 200% year over year. And then finally, a little bit about Zell Ross and our traction. We have probably some of the largest logos out of the French market: AXA, Crédit Agricole, Maif, Cardiff, and many more. And then also North America, we have Insurance Supermarket International out of Toronto. And then we also have another MGA, Quality Insurance out of North Carolina. And then a number of great features, some alliances, Guidewire, Accenture, Salesforce, Capgemini, and so on are our strategic partners. We're also backed by Plug and Play, Capgemini, and BVG out of California. So a couple of asks. Here is one is if you're an MGA or an insurance carrier, we'd love to talk and see if there's a fit for maybe a trial. And of course, as we continue on our path of raising funds, we'd love to connect with investors as well for the future. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. You know, after Z comes Q. Just today. With that, I'd like to introduce Quantum Merge. Thank you.
Mike. Hi, how are you doing? Everybody's good? Okay, why is it dark? What do you do?
We're getting there. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay. So do you know why I'm the last? It's because all of you guys are my clients. And because it doesn't matter what you guys do and in which line of business you are, technically you probably created all of your startups to exit one day, and you're going to come to me because nobody else will write your business. Nobody will offer you M&A insurance, and that's exactly what we are. But let's see.
Hey, Layla, before we get started,
Yeah.
I want to talk about that company that we just bought.
Why?
There's all kinds of problems with this company. They've got terrible contracts. They lost 5 of their people.
Wait. But we reviewed the contracts.
We did, but it's not the best. Plus, they've got all kinds of cyber issues. They've got all kinds of intellectual property issues.
No, man. But we can't sue them. I mean, they're now a part of our company. What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was talking to my brother. He's in private equity, and I think they buy insurance for this company.
Aha. Large companies are not going to offer a coverage for small deals. I wish there was a quantum merge. I wish. Yeah. So this is usually what you expect when you buy a company, and this is what you get, because as you might know, I mean, IP, technology, and, you know, like it's all a bit messy, especially as a startup, because I'm a startup, I know that. So, I mean, fingers crossed, we're going to pass our due diligence. So, what do we actually do? So I mentioned the mergers and acquisitions. What's happening here with the contract is that wraps and warranties insurance is actually a financial instrument to protect the buyer or the seller, depends who is buying the insurance, usually it's the buyer, from issues related to the post-closing phase. And usually, essentially, if they overpaid, they will try to get their money back, right? So let's think about how this insurance is being written. I mean, it's a very different type of insurance. And the reason why I'm showing all of these numbers is because what you see here is the percentages. Because the way you calculate that risk is not based on credits, debits, and, you know, internal loss factors. It's you take the enterprise value, the deal value, and then you essentially decide what will be the limits. 10%, 20%. In the US, it's usually 10 to 20%, depends on the deal. And then the premium will be that from the limits. And of course, we talk about retention. You know, minimum premiums are about 200,000. So now you probably understand why small deals are not purchasing reps and warranties insurance, is because it just doesn't make sense whatsoever. So when we looked at the market, we realized that right now there are a couple of really smart, solid MGAs and excellent carriers. AIG was there forever, you know, and there are some of the MGAs, but they are average value of the deals that they're focusing on are like 400 million. I mean, our competition or our peer MGA like made 200 billion in gross written premium from January to this date. So just think about that for a second. So what we are saying, we say, okay, we're not going to step on anybody's toes. We are going to look at our smaller deals. So we are focusing on this, on the transactions under 50 million, because nobody on the market is writing this at all. And so the reason why we can do that, because we actually have a technology that helps us underwrite. Because the reason why it's not being underwritten is not because it's a bad risk. It's not because it's it's nothing really. It's because there are not enough people that are writing this business, and nobody wants to spend the energy, on for small margins. So that's why we are technologically enabled. We tweaked the process a little bit to offer a little bit of technology. I mean, granted, our bar is very low. We are competing against Microsoft Access in the industry. So anything that we offer is actually really high technology. But essentially what do we do is, and that's what is very, very important. Not only companies and MGAs don't have the technology to actually expedite the entire process and underwrite it better, but they actually, so the underwriting process is, I'm going to look into the data room of the buyer. I'm going to look at all of the reports. I'm going to just have maybe 24 hours to look at all of these due diligence reports and say, okay, well, if it's done by PwC, that's excellent. If it's done by somebody I don't know, maybe I will just send the access to the data room to our lawyers that actually know about this business. They're going to look at it. They're going to give me a thumbs up, and then I'm going to write a policy. Extremely profitable business. In US, it's under 30% loss ratio. Globally, it's 55%, but it's written in a very different manner globally. So, we know our business better than they are. Okay. We also do the independent due diligence. So, for example, if you guys are founders, or if you know the founders because you're investing in founders, we can actually start preparing you guys, because we developed a data room where the attorney and the broker, everybody is collaborating, uploading, places everything in the secure place. And we as underwriters, we look at the risk profile that we generate, because we are pulling also some additional very interesting information about you. So we look at everything you've done wrong and like all of this parties that you attended, right? So we pull a lot of information about the companies. And so we are essentially comparing what we have from the deep hole of the internet and what you and the broker uploaded into the data room. And then we identify the red flags. And that makes it very easy for us to understand what is a yes, what is a no, and just offer, a coverage, even though we are a little bit demanding, yes, but we can offer coverage to smaller deals. So this is our competition. Technically, they are not, because nobody's actually writing deals under 50 million. They are trying to play in this space. It's still not interesting, because you spend even more time on explaining to a non-competent founder, why this rep, why this promise that you are making to the buyer is not really something that the insurers are willing to cover. And so, here on the technology side, we are truly leading. So we are taking the segment that nobody wants. We are friends with everybody who is in the industry. And then also we have the technology that future-proofed ourselves and through the recession. And so we're just asking for a very small investment. So I'm waiting actually after this presentation that everybody's going to be throwing money at us. That's actually the goal for you. This is the only way for you to leave this room, is like if you're gonna pull the money and leave them right here. So we are looking for 3 million. We will need to cover operational expenses, but after we are going to get this 3 million, we are promising that we are going to make 20 million by the end of the year. We are in current negotiations with capacity. So we are babies, but we are very, very smart babies, as you probably figured it out. Very modest too. So yes, if you have any questions, I'm the last. you are very welcome to approach me or my partner in crime, who is much smarter than I am. He is a veteran in M&A industry and a lawyer too, so I can't have these discussions with him. It's just. Other than that, I thank you for your attention and great energy. I hope you have a lot of favorites here. And don't forget to bring them to us after they are exiting or after you decide that they need to exit.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. As she said, she is potentially your next customer. There you go.
All right. Well, thanks, Roy, for picking up the slack and bringing you guys through the afternoon. I hope you had a few dad jokes with him. All this would not be possible if it wasn't for the support from our 11 carrier and broker members. So our entire accelerator program is underwritten by the support of them. So I just want to thank all of them. Some of them are in the audience. Jay from QB. I know Mark I saw earlier from Transverse. And there's some of you guys. So there's Sonia from TIAA who was here as well. Sven's here. So, and AJ as well. So thanks to all of you guys for supporting it. And this accelerator program is really about making those connections, connecting the InsurTech startups with the carriers and brokers and investors. So thanks everyone for coming out. I know some of you traveled from all over the world to be here. And since I'm up last, I'm going to do my two pitches. So the two things that we have coming up, one is coming up, my fun event that I'm really looking forward to is InsurTech Slopes. So that is January 31st and February 1st. People said this morning, I didn't say where it is, and where it's at is Beaver Creek, Colorado. So I know some of you have favorites in Colorado. Beaver Creek is mine. So if you just search InsurTech Slopes on Google, you can sign up for it. We have like 14 slots left just for founders, investors. And then second, I think Tony would get really upset if I didn't bring this up, but our spring conference is March 29th and 30th. We expect to have more than 700 people there. It's going to be at Pier 60 in Chelsea Piers. This time we'll have windows there, so you have an opportunity to really see the great view of the river from there. And it's a day and a half of solid content. And I know a lot of you that are on the life and health side always go to these PNC conferences and say, there's not something for me. So we have a full track, the full day and a half on life and health, full track on PNC. If anyone has any questions on the event, feel free to talk to me afterwards. Otherwise,
David, can you sign up now for these events?
Yeah, absolutely. Just if you go to our website, insurtechny.com, spring conference is on the homepage. And then, of course, Roy and I definitely want to welcome you. The next event starts at 4:30 on underwriting data, so you're all welcome to stick around. It's in the same building. If you want to go outside, take a walk, refresh, that's all good too. And you'll get to listen to Roy again with some more dad jokes, and he's going to be the MC for the afternoon. So
I have to look up dad jokes too.
yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Ran through. I was trying to hide it up.